Hello, I'm Reverend Karen Davis of First Christian Church. You know, when we think of Joseph, we often think of his coat of many colors, but beyond his fashion sense, we know that Joseph did many other things that stand out to us as more of an example. Beyond what we should wear, we find from Joseph how we should act and how we should treat one another. This week, as we reflect on Genesis chapter 45, verses 1 through 15, we find Joseph showing mercy and grace to his siblings. If you recall, they didn't treat him so well. They, in fact, had planned his demise and sold him off, telling his father that he had been killed when really they had sold him into slavery. But years later, when Joseph now finds himself in a position of power and authority, his brothers come to him, seeking help and assistance, not realizing that he is the very brother that they tried to get rid of. So instead of seeking revenge, Joseph shows mercy and grace and forgiveness. Just as hatred and bitterness weighs down upon us like rocks weighing on our spirit, Joseph finds it to be very freeing to show love and mercy to his brothers, because now those who he thought he might never see again, he's been reunited with and given that opportunity to share a meaningful relationship. It's a great example to us that rather than seeking revenge, which only eats us up from the inside, and we find that the meal we devour in anger and revenge is really ourselves, that Joseph finds in showing that kindness and grace to his brothers, he finds healing not only for them, but for himself as well. I invite you this week to think about those relationships in your life that perhaps need mending. Maybe there are people that you need to offer forgiveness and grace to, not so much for their sake, but for your own sake, to find peace and healing and wholeness by letting go of that anger and resentment. Spend some time this week reflecting on how you can find healing for yourself as you extend the same mercy and grace that God has given to each of us. May you go forth experiencing God's grace and forgiveness, and may you extend it to all whom you encounter.